Let's move on to some additional client safety. Falls. Falls are one of the number one injuries that we see in the children that we work with. Falls can sometimes be difficult to prevent, but in this section, we will review some tips on how to still be preventative. Do not allow clients to play on high porches, decks, stairs, or balconies while in your care. Sometimes kids like to jump off of these different things, but really just try and not to allow them to ever do them in order to prevent them from falling.
Family. When it comes to falls, the number one cause of unintentional injuries for kids, prevention in the home is especially important. The Davis family has a unique challenge in keeping Cindy from falling because she is blind. Even though Cindy uses different orientation and mobility techniques and has a service dog to help guide her, it is important for the Davis family to take steps to make Cindy's life easier as she navigates around the house. The family installs secure handrails down the stairway from the second floor of their apartment, as well as grab bars in the bathroom where slippery surfaces may exist. Lucy Davis also removes area rugs and clutter from the floor. They keep electrical cords away from walkways, the chairs pushed in, and cabinets, closets, and doors fully closed. Since Cindy uses her sense of touch to find her way around the house, her mom uses furniture straps or brackets with a few screws to secure heavy and tall furniture to the wall. These easy-to-install devices make furniture more stable so that Cindy can feel her way around the apartment safely. The Gomez family also has to be vigilant about falls inside the home. They make sure that Luisa's wheelchair is able to navigate freely from room to room. Like the Davises, they remove any accumulation of clutter, install grab bars in the bathroom, and remove area rugs. They also inspect the home regularly to make sure that all the flooring is even to avoid any trips or falls. To recap, here are some important steps to avoid serious falls in the home. Install secure handrails and grab bars. Remove area rugs. Keep cords and clutter out of the way. Keep chairs pushed in and cabinets and doors fully closed. Secure tall and heavy furniture with furniture straps. Look out for uneven flooring. For any family, taking the proper precautions to prevent falls is an essential part of ensuring a safer home. For more safety information, go to safekids.org.
Always remember that screens are meant to keep bugs out, not children in. A screen will not keep a client from falling out of an open window. Do not leave a client unattended in a room where a window is open, and do not let clients play on or around windows or window ledges. If they attempt to go near it, explain the dangers of playing near an open window when able and when their functional level allows for something like that to be explained to them. Don't let your clients climb on furniture or use drawers or shelves as steps. This will easily allow things to tip over and it could fall on top of them. Avoid engaging in gross motor or play activities with your client directly in front of TVs to prevent them from tipping over onto you or the client. Always look for loose cords that your client might want to pull on that could cause large objects to fall on top of them. This is probably going to be really important with some of the littles that you guys work with because they're going to be more likely to pull on those things without even thinking about what might happen.
A frightening crash. A thunderous boom.
Can you imagine a child under that?
A nightmare becoming so common, safety experts and the federal government issuing these alarming new reports today. According to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, 37 kids were killed from TV, furniture, and appliance tip-overs last year alone, up a shocking 37%. Another 23,400 children rushed to emergency rooms. Kate Carr is president of the watchdog group Safe Kids. How does this happen?
TVs like this are top-heavy with a narrow base. Small kids are very curious about TVs. They want to get them on. They come over, they grab them, it wobbles, and it falls right over on a child.
She says many parents keep flat screens on stands, sitting on furniture, an invitation for danger.
Look how easy this is for this to fall on a child.
And that's the mistake. Now there's a new problem. What to do with those heavy tube TVs? A lot of people taking their old TVs, moving them into basements like this or kids' bedrooms.
And they're up on a high dresser, and kids reach for the remote, climb up on a drawer, pull the drawer out, and there it goes.
The impact studies show the same as a baby falling from a 10-story window. It happened to 2-year-old Chance Bowles.
The last thing she said to me was, "I love you, Mama." And that was it.
Mom was in the next room when her cute little girl pulled out the drawers and climbed up on this dresser. In just seconds, it all came down.
And just something that simple that we never thought about is what took her away from us.
So how do you protect your kids? Flat screen should always be mounted on the wall, secure. At the very least, experts say, buy a special strap like this and attach your TV and the dresser to the wall. Those straps cost less than $20. And for those old tube TVs, this is how it should be.
This is absolutely how it should be. Low and stable piece of furniture.
Below my knee.
Below your knee. Looks great.
Advice that may have saved so many children, and perhaps this 2-year-old girl.
We don't want you to take the chance on losing your baby like we did ours.
If you're ever at a client's house and you notice something like that, maybe bring it up to your program manager. There's chances that parents haven't seen some of the safety videos that we're providing with you. We're providing to you guys, so they might not be aware that these safety hazards could happen to their children. Always take into consideration your client's gross motor abilities when playing with various items. If they have poor gross motor skills, then walk behind them going up the stairs and in front of them going down the stairs to prevent them from falling. If you have a client that also has poor gross motor skills, take this into consideration when they're climbing on and off the playground equipment, when they're trying to jump on the trampoline, when they're trying to climb onto swings, anything like that, because they're probably going to need your assistance in those cases so that they don't fall over. If you're present during bath or shower time, ensure that the client's parents have taken the proper precautions to prevent dangerous falls by installing anti-slip mats in the bathtub. If they do not have them and you feel like it's necessary, talk to your program manager. While at play, children generate more heat than adults, but also sweat less. This makes them more likely to become dehydrated. Dehydration occurs when a body loses more than what it takes in. When children don't drink enough water while playing outside, they could be at risk for dehydration, heat exhaustion, or even heat stroke. So let's go over some tips to prevent dehydration. Always bring a water bottle with you if you're playing outside with your client, and take frequent water breaks. Even if you're playing inside and you're running around a lot, take the time and make sure that you take water breaks. Think about the fact that if you need water, your client needed water a long time ago. Don't wait for your client to let you know that they are thirsty. Plan for this ahead of time. Like I said, remember, if you're thirsty, then it's probably too late. Rehydrate the client as soon as possible. Take frequent cooling off breaks in an air-conditioned area. The younger the client, the more often they will need breaks. Take into consideration that a client may not have the language to tell you that they are tired or thirsty. So if you're working with a nonverbal kid, they might not be able to say that they need water. So you are really going to be the one responsible to making sure that they remain hydrated in those situations. Some signs and symptoms that they might be dehydrated, we're going to go through the 3 levels. The first is they might have heat cramps, then it would be heat exhaustion, and then they could go into heat stroke. Symptoms can range from muscle cramping in the calves, back, arms, and abs, and those would all be related to heat cramps. When they've gotten to heat exhaustion, they might be faint, dizzy, nausea, and have a rapid heartbeat. When it's gotten to a heat stroke, they might be collapsing, they might have emotional instability, and have a very high body temperature. If it gets to that case, you need to treat them right away. Hydrate them. No matter the severity of the dehydration, it's important that you rehydrate the client. This is going to be best done by water, Pedialyte, or some sort of sports drink such as Gatorade. However, if you were to give your client Pedialyte, this would need to be approved by the parent prior to giving it to the client. And once again, since this is technically a medication, it would need to be in written form. Cooling down the client by bringing them inside is going to be a huge way to help treat dehydration as well.
Dehydration. Most athletes have had some experience with dehydration in their training. What is dehydration? Dehydration is simply not having enough fluid to meet your metabolic needs. How do you feel when you're dehydrated? Well, sometimes it's lightheadedness, it's dizziness, and oftentimes it's fatigue. So how do you treat this dehydration? How do you prevent dehydration? Well, simply, you need to drink more than maybe you think you need to drink. The key, however, is let's make this a little bit more scientific. One tip, if you get up and your urine looks like apple juice, you are dehydrated. So you think, well, I drank a lot yesterday, I'm drinking more than my friends. Well, in reality, if that first morning urine looks like apple juice, you are dry. Hidden sources of fluid in your diet are fruits and vegetables. So if you're prone to dehydration, adding more fruits and vegetables to your diet can time release water when you need it the most. Third, and probably most important, is you must weigh yourself. So you're going to go out and do a training run in the morning, you weigh yourself, you weigh 120 pounds. You come back in from your training run, you towel off, you get the water off, you change out of your wet clothes into something dry, and you re-weigh yourself. Now you're 118 pounds. For every pound you lost 16 ounces of fluid. In order to rehydrate yourself, you need to drink up to 24 ounces. So the secret in that example would be you lost 2 pounds, you need to drink 48 ounces of water to make up for that fluid deficit. So make sure that you drink more, that you check your urine, and you also want to make sure that you are weighing yourself before and after your run. That's the best way to fuel your performance and prevent dehydration.
Allergic reaction. Known allergies for clients. So when you have a known allergy, you're going to know that ahead of time. So anytime you get trained on a new client, that should be something that you're reviewing. And it's extremely important that you find out if they're allergic to anything. And if they do have allergies and it's a known one, then they should have a plan on what to do in case you come across that allergen and something happens. If a client has a severe allergy, the client will have a protocol on how to handle this. Make sure you're fully trained on this procedure in case an emergency arises. However, sometimes we're not going to always know the allergies that our clients have. So something could come up that we didn't even realize that they're allergic to because they consumed something, they were outside, they got stung by a bee, something along that line happens. So we need to make sure you guys know what to do in those situations as well. Some common allergies that you might come across is animal dander, bee stings, certain medications such as penicillin, dust mites, foods, particularly peanuts, tree nuts, fish, shellfish, eggs, milk, wheat, and soy, insect bites, latex, other materials you touch, mold, plants, and pollens. The severity of an allergic reaction can be from hay fever all the way to way more severe than that. Because a hay fever is just going to cause sneezing, runny nose, itchy eyes, or red swollen eyes. So this is probably what you see you come across a lot more often. However, things can be a lot more severe than that. When it's a food allergy, it could end up causing a tickling in your mouth, your tongue, lips, and mouth can swell, hives could develop, or you could go into shock. With a sting, there's usually a large swelling around the sting showing that they're allergic. There's itching, there's hives all over the body, shortness of breath, wheezing, or coughing. Treatment. If a client has a mild allergic reaction, reach out to the parents to see how they would like to handle this. Once again, no medication can be given unless you get permission from the parent. So if they need Benadryl, you need to get that in written form. Even if the parent's not home, they can just shoot you a quick text to say that you can give it in the moment, and then afterwards we can get a written note. If they have a severe allergic reaction, If a parent or another adult is home, immediately yell for help. If they have a prescribed EpiPen for this type of allergic reaction, this is the time it should be used. If they have an EpiPen in the house that is for mom, brother, sister, anything like that, and it is not prescribed to them, you cannot administer it. No matter what the situation, you are not allowed to do so. If the mom or dad choose to do that, then that is their choice, but you cannot do that. 911 should be called as soon as possible in this situation. Even if you give them an EpiPen, 911 has to be called immediately. And even if you don't have an EpiPen, you still should be calling 911 as soon as possible anytime there's a severe allergic reaction. Here's a video on some more details about allergic reactions.
When to use the EpiPen auto-injector in the event of a severe allergic reaction. Every second counts. Anyone who has been prescribed EpiPen should carry it with them at all times and use it as soon as symptoms of a severe allergic reaction begin. Severe allergic reactions can happen when allergy triggers from sources such as peanuts, shellfish, insect venom, medicine, or latex enter the body. To protect itself from these allergens, the body releases chemicals. In severe cases, this overreaction can be life-threatening. Severe allergic reactions can affect one or more parts of the body, such as the skin, upper respiratory system, or the mouth and nose, lower respiratory system, or the lungs, gastrointestinal system, or gut, which includes the stomach and intestines, cardiovascular system, or the heart and blood vessels. There may be warning signs or symptoms in these areas during a severe allergic reaction. The most common symptoms are swelling and hives. Typical symptoms include swelling around the eyes, hives, flushing, itching, redness or paleness, swelling of the lips or tongue, metallic taste or itching, swelling, itching, or difficulty swallowing, difficulty breathing, wheeze or cough, cramps, nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea, increased heart rate, decreased blood pressure, chest pain, or irregular heartbeat, sudden feeling of weakness, feeling faint, anxiety, or an overwhelming sense of doom, collapse, or loss of consciousness. A severe allergic reaction can occur with many or only a few symptoms, and each reaction can be different. For instance, people with asthma are more likely to experience severe breathing problems during an allergic reaction. But for anyone who's been prescribed EpiPen, the first thing to do during a severe allergic reaction is always the same. Reach for EpiPen and use it immediately at the first sign of symptoms. Using epinephrine, the medicine in EpiPen, immediately after exposure to an allergy trigger can help reverse the symptoms of a severe allergic reaction and could help save a life. Remember, antihistamines have not been proven to stop a severe allergic reaction and should not be used before EpiPen. Since no one can predict how bad a reaction will be, and because a severe allergic reaction can get worse very quickly, don't wait for a paramedic or emergency personnel to inject EpiPen. However, using epinephrine doesn't replace getting medical care or going to the hospital. After using EpiPen, call 911 right away or go to an emergency room immediately. Because another severe allergic reaction could happen, stay close to a healthcare facility or where you can call 911 for the next 48 hours. If you or your child do not feel better or get worse, you can inject another dose of EpiPen or EpiPen Junior 5 to 15 minutes after the first injection. That's why it's best to have more than one EpiPen auto-injector handy. Do not inject more than 2 injections right after each other. Severe allergic reactions can be unpredictable. There might only be 1 or 2 warning signs before a serious reaction happens. Hesitating to use epinephrine, the medicine in EpiPen, after the first sign of an allergic reaction, or not using it at all, can be life-threatening. If you're unsure whether or not a severe allergic reaction is occurring, it's generally better to use EpiPen. If someone who has severe allergies and asthma is having an asthma attack, but you're uncertain whether it's an asthma attack or a severe allergic reaction, use EpiPen first. After using epinephrine, follow medical instructions for controlling asthma. As in other cases, after using EpiPen, be sure to get medical care or go to the emergency room immediately. Remember that in the event of an allergic emergency, every second counts. Always have easy access to an EpiPen autoinjector and be sure to use it at the first signs of a severe allergic reaction. To find out more about severe allergic reactions and EpiPen, talk to a doctor or pharmacist or visit epipen.ca.
Choking. Choking occurs when a child's airway gets blocked. This can happen when anything smaller than a D-sized battery is consumed by a child and causes an airway blockage. In order to prevent choking, follow these tips. Always require the child to sit while eating. Encourage the child to chew up their food well and take smaller bites rather than larger ones. Keep food pieces small. When a child is younger, watch carefully when a child is eating whole nuts, grapes, lollipops, and chips. And for children who like small objects and tend to put them in their mouth, keep them out of reach. Avoid toys that have small parts that could easily be broken off. Here are some more tips on choking.
Choking can happen to people of all ages. Although food causes the majority of choking injuries in children, it is also common for young children to put small objects like coins or toy parts in their mouths. Children with special needs are also vulnerable to choking injuries, so taking certain steps to prevent choking is critical. Harold Jones is a teenager with a cognitive disorder. He has a tendency to explore objects by mouthing them, so even though Harold is older, the Joneses have to be especially careful about choking hazards. The Jones family makes sure that there's nothing around the house that their son could choke on. Lucy Davis faced a similar challenge when her children, Billy and Cindy, were younger. Lucy also took special care to avoid having small toys and objects around her house that either child might put in their mouth. One way Lucy determined whether an item was a potential hazard was to place it through a small parts tester or toilet paper tube. If it fit through the opening, Lucy knew it was a potential choking risk for her young children. She was also especially careful to avoid giving either child any small, round foods such as hot dogs, candies, nuts, grapes, carrots, and popcorn without her supervision. These foods can block a young child's airway and cause them to choke. When Lucy's kids were younger, she paid close attention to buttons on their clothing and plastic eyes and noses on their stuffed animals, which the children might have been able to choke on as well. Now that Lucy's children are older, she regularly reminds them to eat slowly and chew their food thoroughly. She also makes sure to tell them not to play, run, or jump while eating. To recap, here are some important steps to avoid choking injuries in your home. Test small objects using a small parts tester or toilet paper tube to find out whether they are a choking hazard. Avoid giving children small, round foods. Keep small items, toys, and toy parts away from young children and older children who continue mouthing objects. For any family, taking the proper precautions to prevent unintentional choking is an essential part of ensuring a safer home. For more safety information, go to safekids.org.
As that video mentioned, it's important that you pay attention to the toys kids play with. Sometimes a kid might have a toy that has a loose eye and it's about to fall off. Then it might be better to just go ahead and pull it off so that they can't choke on it. Or if you have a client that eats way too fast and you notice that this is a common problem with them, then give them a little amount of food at a time so that they can't stuff the whole entire thing in their mouth. Cut it up into smaller pieces, whatever it takes to kind of slow them down in those situations. Here is a video that demonstrates the Heimlich maneuver and how to perform it on kids. Remember that you need to follow your CPR and first aid training in these situations because this does not cover it. This is just a reminder of what to do in those situations.
Hi, my name is Aaron Gerbitavicius. I'm a charge nurse here at Chalk Children's Emergency Department. One of the most frightening situations that parents can go through is a choking episode with a child or infant. Today we're going to be talking about performing the Heimlich maneuver on your child or infant. We'll start with the infant. Recognizing signs and symptoms of choking in an infant look like a red face, choking, coughing, gurgling sounds. You will now see the steps of performing the Heimlich maneuver on an infant. The infant must be placed on your forearm, supporting the head with your hand. Find a place where you can sit with the infant, placing them head down and where you're able to support their weight securely. You will then deliver a series of 5 back blows, using the heel of your hand to the center of the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After this, you will then roll the child over, supporting the head, to deliver a series of 5 chest thrusts using 2 fingers to the center of the chest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You will continue alternating between 5 back blows and 5 chest thrusts until the object becomes dislodged. Make sure to call 911 to render emergency services for your child. Now we will learn how to perform the Heimlich maneuver on a child. First, we will need to determine how do we know if the child is choking. You will see the child put their hands up to their throat, like this, showing that they are choking. This is the international sign for choking. If the child is sitting, have them stand up and explain to them that you are going to perform the Heimlich maneuver. You will now get a walkthrough on how to perform the Heimlich maneuver on a child. The Heimlich maneuver begins by wrapping your arms around the child. Then make a fist. Put the knuckle of your pinky finger into the victim's belly button. Then roll the fist upward until the knuckle of your thumb is touching the belly. Grabbing your fist with your opposite hand, thrust in and up. You will repeat this in and up, in and up, in and up, until they dislodge whatever is causing the choking and they can breathe again. It is important to remember to call 911 to render emergency services for your child. Thank you for watching this video. Here at Chalk Children's Emergency Department, we recommend that all parents take a child life safety course in basic life support and CPR.